Hi, this is Laura from LIVEVISIONZ.com. I wanted to talk to you about your career, each sign. So if you feel maybe that your things are not progressing in career for you, or you feel like you're in a slump, or every time you get a job, you keep getting laid off, there's reasons for this, right? I know a lot of times if you're always in a job and you're doing everything you need to be doing at that job and you don't understand why it's just not working out, or the employer is just, like they're not paying you what they should, things always happen. A lot of times that is to say, if you're doing everything you need to do, you're showing up on time, doing what you need to do, doing what they expect you to do. And if it's just that you're dealing with one company after this, like messing you over, sometimes it means you need to be self-employed, right? So, but anyway, let's look at the career for each sign and see what careers would be best for each of you. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit first. I'm going to go into each and every sign, but I'm going to let you kind of know how I'm doing this. Okay. I'll show you. I will show you. Let me just go here first. Screen share. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to show you, these are today's transits. So if somebody was born, let me get rid of my banner. Okay. So if somebody was born today, and we're saying, and I'm using whole house systems with this, I personally, when I do the career, I use Placidus. I don't use whole house. But anyway, this is just to give you an example. So let's say somebody's born today and they're a Virgo rising, right? And their second house is ruled by Libra. Okay. Well, fields that would be for Libra, okay, would be judges, lawyers, artists, cosmetics, fashion, receptionists, advertising, interior decorating, and counselors. And also, Libra rules the public. People maybe who work for the public, right? Okay, so you have to look where Venus is. Where is his Venus? His Venus is in his 12th house, conjunct Mars. That's a lot of passion there, right? Venus in the 12th house. Let's look at that. All right, so Venus, there could be foreign jobs requiring secrecy, working with jails, hospitals, and prisons, charities, advocacy, and foreign travels. And this could be, Leo is the 12th house. Maybe there's secrecy in regards to money in a something like that. This person could be very private with their love life. This person could be very private when it comes to their finances. Now, Mars here in the 12th house can denote fire, energy, materials, weapons, initiative, construction, soldiers, police, firefighters, surgeons, engineers, factories, beauticians. Okay. Anything requiring cutting, knives, that require taking action. So maybe this person, it works behind the scenes too. Maybe he's doing something behind the scenes, creating something, right? This could be a very creative person, right? So let's look further. So that's the second house when we look to the rulers. Now let's look at the 6th house, is the work environment, right? Now this is Aquarius. This person could be, there could be a lot of ups and downs in his work and day-to-day activities, right? Maybe it's hard to plan his day. You don't know what to expect, right? Aquarius can be a humanitarian, advisors, consultants, philosophers, astrologers, engineers, computing, internet, inventor, pilot, or humanitarian, right? Now I'm leaning toward, based on the Venus in the 12th here, I'm leaning toward inventor, engineer kind of thing. But he has Pluto here, right? Pluto as well. Pluto is very close to that 6th house of work environment. So for him, Pluto has to do with research, investigators, insurance, death, longevity, technology, espionage, psychologists, and metaphysics. I'm thinking technology. He's transforming something technological. He could be a very creative type of person, right? That's what I'm feeling. Now let's look at the ruler to Aquarius. The ruler to Aquarius is Uranus, and it's in that 9th house, right? 9th house could be imports, exports, right? It's also teaching, writing, publishing, contracts, legal, and your belief system is your 9th house. I'm thinking this has to do with imports, exports, right? Something like that. And Uranus here Has to do with scientists, inventors, computing, astrologers, lab techs, and electronics. It could be inventing something. And Taurus would really have to do with maybe something tangible, maybe a product, luxury goods, well, Taurus in itself could be luxury goods, jewelry, cosmetics, music, actors, banking, tailors, fashion, property, computer programmer, chief, massage therapist, or film. But, it's also objects that are worth luxury goods. So maybe this is something worth a lot, right? So, or there are goods and services. I'm feeling like this person is selling something, selling maybe imports, selling to other countries, selling everywhere, like just like the iPhone or something, right? All right. And then I'm looking at the pinnacle of this person's career is Gemini. And that's that 10th house right here, right? 10th house. And we're like, okay, Gemini has to do with media, journalism, account representatives, translators, writers, jobs, driver, jobs using hands, such as a mechanic. Yeah, he could be very making things, right? It's also media. Like he may be doing a lot more advertising with the pinnacle of his career, but he could be working with his hands too, because, Gemini rules the hands, right? So I see that. Now Mercury is in the house of the 11th house of friends, groups, and organizations, right? So Mercury here would denote, communicating with people of authority. Mercury is conjunct the sun, or when he's communicating, he's getting a lot of attention, right? So in the pinnacle of a career, he could be communicating with groups and organizations. It's in Cancer, right? So let's look at Mercury right away. Mercury is intellect, writing, teaching, merchandise clerks, account editors, transport, astrologers, and advisors, right? He could be advising other people on how it works, or also he could also be, dealing with merchandise clerks, teaching, giving intellect on whatever he's selling, right? Advising others. Now, it's conjunct the sun. So when he's speaking, other people are paying attention, right? The sun is authorities, politicians, scientists, leaders, directors, government employees, doctors, and jewelers. So there's a sense of authority with what he's saying. It's like Steve Jobs when he said, okay, this is the iPhone, this is where we're going, and everybody's paying attention. They want to know what the next cutting edge technology is, right? Okay, Cancer. This is in Cancer, the sign of Cancer. So let's look at that. All right. Let me just see here. Oh, here it is. Naval, Marine, fishing, nursing, interior design, food, petroleum, historian, children, taking care of others, feeding others, housewife, being supported by family in the home, caretaker of others. Okay, so maybe toward the pinnacle of his career, he's communicating to others, right? Maybe women, children, maybe he's saying how this is going to be helpful or useful in the home. Yeah, he's communicating with people in homes, maybe he's communicating with friends, groups, or I think organizations, right? And maybe he's communicating about how this is going to be useful in the home or whatever it is, right? So anyway, that I'm just giving you an example, okay, of how a career reading is done. And there could be more than one career in this person's life, right? Like if this Virgo rising was over just a little bit, I could say, okay, maybe he's like an Uber, he does Uber on the side, right? Because if this was ruled by Virgo here. But let's look at something else, right? Again, he's going to use his creativity to make money, right? He's going to maybe do work and behind the scenes, right? But he's maybe doing work for behind the scenes, maybe government. Sun can be government. But behind the scenes, technology. He could be very much a humanitarian type with his work environment. And maybe his work is up and down because it depends on, what he's doing. And it depends on maybe how many prototypes he can make or whatever. He could be a model maker or something like that too. He could be also doing things as far as, I want to say, what do they call that? Not a mechanic, but somebody who my step-grandfather used to be a model maker. He would make prototypes of things that they needed, and they would tell him, like, well, we need this, we need that, and he would make like prototypes or whatever it is. And he started making like tools for the surgeons to use, and he would make prototypes. So maybe that's what this person does. He's inventive. They say what they need. This is what we're needing. We need it to do this. This is what we want it to do. And he makes it, invents it, brings it to life. Right? All right. So let me see, Aquarius. Let's see. I want to look at this. Hold on. Aquarius can be also engineer. That's the word, engineer. Could he be an advisor, communicating with groups and organization? He could work with a bunch of people, advising others in some way, shape, or form. But what throws me is the Venus in the 12th house. Venus in the 12th house is very private. It's very jobs requiring secrecy. It's very hidden. It's a very, yeah. Yeah. He could work for hospitals, prisons, advocacies, foreign travels, So that really, if that Venus wasn't in that 12th house, I would say, okay, he could be an advisor. He could be, a translator or something like that. But with that Venus in that 12th house, no, he would do something maybe requiring secrecy. It could be government related. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of, and we want to look at that Venus. You always want to see what house that Venus is in, right? Foreign jobs requiring secrecy, working in jails, hospitals, prisons, charities. Now, I'm going to let you know a little bit. I'm going to go over this really fast, okay? All right. Look at your natal chart and tell me where you have your Venus, okay? So if your Venus is in the first house, you could be working self-employed, politics, a personal trainer, fitness coach, or an entrepreneur. Venus is in the second, banking, account representatives, restaurants, chef, masseuse, creative fields, luxury goods. Venus in the third, media, journalism, accountants, sign language, translators, writers, Uber driver, jobs using their hands, like a person who does sign language, there you go. If your Venus is in the fourth, real estate, building trades, agriculture, working from home or with family. Venus in the fifth, politics, stockbrokers, entertainment jobs involving children, creative projects, and that earn money, authorship. Venus in the sixth, jobs of service, health-related jobs, military, police, firefighting, waiters, food servers, right? And Venus in the seventh, working with a partner, business, trade, merchant, females, foreign businesses, lawyer, counselor. Venus in the eighth, insurance, research, death-related fields like funeral homes, metaphysics, astrology, sex industry, banking, investments, medical fields such as the X-ray tech, surgeon or ultrasound tech, handling estates, handling other people's money, like an executive of an estate. Okay, Venus in the ninth, law, judge, university, teaching, travel, religious professions, foreign countries, writing and publishing. Venus in the 10th, government jobs, managers, politics, public recognition for creativity, such as a famous parties, famous writer, famous singer, etc. You're going to get, if you have your Venus in the 10th, you may get recognized for whatever you're doing publicly. Okay. Venus in the 11th, group work, working with organizations, working with a friend, working toward humanitarian efforts. Venus in the 12th, foreign jobs requiring secrecy, working in jails, hospitals, prisons, charities, advocacy, or foreign travels, right? So that's just a little information to help you along as to where, now you go by where your Venus is, right? And see what house it's in. It's going to give you a major indication where you're bringing money. But when I did this chart, I did more than the Venus. I looked at this house, the second house of money. I looked for the ruler, which is here. I looked at any planets. Now, because this Pluto is very close to this, I included it. Okay. So I'm looking at what does this mean? Aquarius in the 6th. And that's the work environment, right? Now, I'm also looking at the ruler here, which is over here in the 9th house. Then I'm also looking at this house right here, the 10th house of career, the pinnacle of your career, and what it means in Gemini. Then I look at the ruler, which is over here, and see what does that mean, right? So, and it's conjunct the sun. I have to add that. Mercury conjunct sun. When this person speaks, people listen in his life. He may actually have a public platform in some way. He could have a nice voice. It just depends. He or she. So I'm looking at all of this, right? And again, I'm looking at that Venus, no matter if it's a ruler to the second or not. I'm always looking at that Venus to tell me where you're bringing money. If it's conjunct Mars, I want to look at that too, right? Now, Venus rules his 9th house and his 2nd house. So he can make money through imports, exports, teaching, writing, publishing. Now, it looked like he was going to be teaching maybe in his life about something he's making, right? How it works or what have you. But he's also importing and exporting. I feel he's also in sales. So anyway, this is just giving you some information. So if you want a personal reading from me on the website, I do have Decoding Your Career readings on sale. So check those out right now. So if you, also, I want to mention to you, if you want a solar return, okay, when we look at the career, we're going to look at your natal chart and talk about careers that are going on, of course. But I want to also mention to you, you should also do your solar return every year. Just as far as career goes, you don't have to look. I mean, some people find it really scary. I don't want to do the solar return. It's scary. It can give you a lot of information when it comes to career itself too, and see if your career is changing or what you may be doing for that particular year as far as career is concerned. So that is always a good thing. A solar return can give you what you're doing from this birthday to your next birthday and what your life is like, what your focus is. Is it relationships? Is it work? All of the things, right? It can give you a little more in depth of what's happening in this particular year coming up. So I always say when you're looking at the career, you want to look at the solar return too, right? But because solar return is so involved, when I do decode your career, I'm just looking at your natal chart. I'm not doing a solar return unless you pay for a solar return, okay? Just to let you know. And those of you who want a solar return reading, let me just get rid of this right here. If you want a solar return reading, here it is on the website. I have it on sale. It's normally $300 because it's me looking at your natal chart, the solar return for that particular year, and the overlay of the 2 charts together. So in a sense, I'm looking at 3 charts. If you do order this, make sure that you fill out the contact form. If see here, click on this. Well, if I click on it, it won't even show you, but go here more. And, no, here, top, contact. Okay, I don't know if it showed you, but hopefully it did. But if, yes, make sure you go to the contact form and fill that out for the solar return, okay? Anyway, I love you. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I want to say, you're not only meant to do one career in your lifetime. You could have more than one career, okay, in your life. So it's important to look at that. So some people may have the same type of career their entire life. Some people do not. They have many careers. It also, look at that Venus. It gives you so much more information as far as what career you may be in. Okay. For example, I'm going to give you an example. My Venus is in my 8th house, right? And this is the definition for the 8th. Okay. Insurance, research, death-related fields like funeral homes, metaphysics, astrology, sex industry, banking, investments, medical fields such as x-ray tech, surgeon, ultrasound tech, or handling estates. So in my life, I have done banking. I did banking, regular banking. And then I've done research in the way that I collected federal funds for Department of Ed. So we had to do research and find people to pay those money back. So we had to do research and then talk to them about money they owed, and then get them in a refinance them and get them a new payment plan. So that's a lot of things here. I applied for insurance job, but I did not like it. So, but obviously I do astrology, sex industry. No, it's so funny that my astrology teacher goes, "You'd be a great sex therapist." I'm like, "Oh, great." But I am offering, relationship therapy counseling sessions, which, I'm guessing if that's an issue in the relationship, we may touch base on that. But It's more so talking about what's going on in the relationship and looking at things astrologically, how you trigger each other and seeing where the issues are. And if those of you who are interested in that, just to let you know, here we go. Therapy sessions. Those are no longer 300. Those are 150 a session. So just keep that in mind. And I'm doing astrology parties if that interests you. Anyway, and that's on sale too. But anyway, so those are, I have not just done one field, right? And so I did banking for a lot of years. I also did mortgages for a while. I worked in Brinks for a while. I did commercial banking as in the teller. I would do like restaurants that would bring their big deposits, nightclubs in Chicago that would bring their deposits, and I would count that. I also worked in the Brinks room in banking. I had to count the money when it came through the Brinks truck. Then I also had to fill the ATM machines. I did that for a while. Then I did mortgages. Then I did commercial mortgages for a while at some point. And then I worked at a software company for a while, which I totally loved, that's not really eighth house. And it's funny because I was let go of that job. I was late and they let me go. And I lived really far from that job, but it was so much fun. I loved that job. And they'd have like lunch and learn where you could learn about all the astrology and stuff like that. And they did have me processing the credit cards. All the credit card payments went through me at that company. So, but I was customer service. I would take phone calls and stuff like this. And we would deal with Microsoft, Novell, all of the, the companies, we would deal with them. And they would come in and bring us lunch and teach us at the same time, which I love learning, right? And that was my sixth house. I was learning a lot about technology and stuff. So I love that. What else? So after that job, that's when I got the Department of Education on federally defaulted loans. And then I was basically started with another job after that. My dad got sick. I got let go because they were trying to withhold our checks for stupid. We make up stuff. Oh, you were late 5 minutes, so we're keeping your $5,000 check. What the hell? I was so mad. They were doing this to a lot of people. And that was in 2008 when the economy was tanking. And so I'm like, this is not okay. And then I applied for another job after that, training people for a Department of Ed contract. And I asked them just for an offer letter to give it in writing, because I had a feeling they wanted me to train people and then not pay me. And then I'm screwed, right? So I just said, yeah, I do need an offer letter, a formal letter from you stating what I'm making. And they wouldn't do it. So my intuition was correct. And I kept finding shady crap like that happening. And I'm realizing, yeah, I'm meant to be self-employed. And in my chart, it kind of does say that, So, so then I started, again, the astrology and all that metaphysical stuff. So, and I was always interested in astrology my entire life. So I just didn't do it for work. But anyway, I just wanted to go over how I got the information I received here. And hopefully this is helpful to you. If you want a reading from me, if you want me to decode your career for you, this will be on the website. So you can click on the link below and you'll be able to click on that. And then I will decode it for you. If you want a solar return, that offer is there as well. So check that out. Anyway, I love you. I hope this was helpful to you, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.